Deep beneath the crashing waves of the Pacific lay the shimmering kingdom of Aquaria. Woven from bioluminescent corals and towering kelp forests, the realm was ruled by the ancient and wise ocean king Nereus. As the king grew older, he realized it was time to name an heir to the coral throne. There were two leading candidates in the kingdom, both powerful and beautiful, yet entirely different in heart. Elara, a mermaid known throughout the waters for her boundless compassion. She spent her days healing injured sea turtles and singing to frightened baby whales. Marina, a fiercely ambitious and strikingly beautiful mermaid. However, her heart was clouded with jealousy. She believed the throne belonged to her by right of her unmatched elegance and strength. The royal decree King Nereus summoned the entire ocean to the grand amphitheater. With a strike of his golden trident, the waters grew still. The time has come to choose the future ruler of Aquaria. The king's voice boomed, echoing through the currents. To prove your worth, you must venture into the treacherous abyssal trench and retrieve the legendary Pearl of Lumina. But beware, the ocean tests not just your strength, but your soul. Both Ilara and Marina accepted the challenge, darting off toward the dark, crushing depths of the trench. The journey into the abyss. As they descended into the pitch black waters, the environment grew hostile. Marina's path of ambition. Marina swam with ruthless speed. When a school of silverfish asked for directions to avoid a swirling whirlpool, she ignored them, focused only on the prize. When a giant clam snapped shut, trapping a young crab, she swam right past, muttering that it was not her problem. Elara's path of compassion. Elara, on the other hand, could not ignore the cries of the ocean. She stopped to carefully guide the silverfish away from the vortex. She spent precious time prying open the giant clam to free the crying crab. Because of her kindness, her progress was painfully slow. Eventually, both mermaids reached the bottom of the trench where the Pearl of Lumina sat atop a pedestal of obsidian. It was said that the pearl would glow brilliantly for the true heir. Elara arrived just as Marina reached out to grab it. As Marina touched the pearl, it remained a dull, lifeless gray. Frustrated, she turned and saw Elara approaching. Knowing she had failed the pearl's magical test, Marina formulated a deceitful plan. Elara, look out! Marina shrieked, pointing behind her. As Elara turned to look, Marina used a forbidden dark spell, creating a blinding flash of ink and sand. In the chaos, Marina struck Elara with her tail, knocking her into a deep ravine and trapped her under a heavy boulder. Marina then grabbed the lifeless pearl, used a glowing potion to make it artificially shine, and sped back to the palace, leaving Elara in the dark. The truth surfaces. Marina arrived at the coral throne triumphant, holding the artificially glowing pearl high above her head. The kingdom cheered, believing they had found their new queen. I braved the trench and claimed the pearl, my king, Marina announced proudly. The throne is mine. King Nereus looked at the pearl, his ancient eyes narrowing. Just as he was about to speak, a massive shadow fell over the throne room. It was a giant blue whale, and riding on its back was Ilara, battered but smiling. Surrounding her were the silverfish, the little crab, and a dozen deep sea creatures who had heard her cries in the ravine and banded together to lift the heavy boulder. Marina gasped, her glowing potion wearing off in that exact moment. The pearl of Lumina in her hand faded back to a dull, dead grey stone. Ilara swam forward, bowing respectfully to the king. I apologize for my delay, Your Majesty. I failed to retrieve the pearl. King Nereus smiled gently and raised his hand, silencing the whispers of the crowd. The Pearl of Lumina is just an ordinary stone, the king revealed, much to the shock of the kingdom. It possesses no magic. The true test was never about retrieving a shiny object, it was a test of character. The king pointed to the creatures surrounding Ilara. While Marina ignored the cries of her people and resorted to deceit and violence for power, Ilara sacrificed her own ambition to help the weakest among us. A true ruler does not conquer their people, they protect them. The new heir. the truth was laid bare for the entire ocean to see. Marina, stripped of her pride and exposed for her cruelty,